What is better than one movie? Well, two movies, of course. Or at least that is what all the studios seem to think. With the latest Spider-Verse, Mission Impossible, and Wicked movies all being split into two parts, I thought it was time to look back at other movies who tried this tactic and see if this was successful. Throughout the 2000s, Harry Potter mania was everywhere. All the movies were successful with critics and fans, so when it was time to film the final book, Warner Brothers decided that they did not want Harry Potter to end, and they decided to split the last book into two movies, with part 1 being released in the later part of 2010 and part 2 in the summer of 2011. Were two parts necessary? And yes and no. Making these two parts meant that part two was an action-packed, satisfying finale of the saga, but that also meant that part one had a lot of. It has good action, but those scenes are not that frequent. But overall, I would say that this was fine. But this also started a trend with Lionsgate releasing three two-part movies between 2011 and 2016. The first of this was Twilight. Look, there is a reason people don't look back at the late 2000s and early 2010s fondly, and I'm convinced a certain love triangle between a teenage girl, a vampire, and a werewolf is the reason. But jokes aside, Twilight was a phenomenon. And yet, I have not seen it. So for this movie, I'm going to change that. What the fuck was that? How was that five movies? Like nothing happened in any of them. Like nothing. Like all of these could be put into one movie and they would still have to come up with filler. Luckily for Lionsgate, after Twilight ended, they immediately had another franchise up their sleeve. Suzanne Collins saw the movie Battle Royale and thought, I can change that and make a lot of money. And Lionsgate thought, we can make movies of that and we can make a lot of money. The first two movies are fine, nothing amazing, but compared to Twilight, they are fucking Citizen Kane. But then we get to Mockingjay, and of course they had to split it up into two movies. Both are just so bland and boring, and it is so bad that even the director admitted that he did not like the idea. But no two-part movie is as bad as the ending of Divergent. See, Veronica Roth saw Suzanne Collins ripping off Battle Royale and thought, I can do that too. I can't help but feel sorry for everybody involved in this, because after the first two movies, they decided to split the final book into two films, with part one releasing in 2016 and part two never. Yeah, part one was such a flop that they did not want to make another movie. There were rumors about a TV movie or a television show, but nobody really cared. You know, there is somebody out there desperately waiting for the conclusion of the Divergent saga. We just haven't found this lunatic yet. But does this mean that a two-part movie with a great story, fantastic characters, and great villains doesn't exist? Wait, there is? Does it have part 1 and part 2 in the title? No. I'll talk about you another day. So, after the Divergent failure, two-parters kinda disappeared until recently, with Spider-Verse and also Mission Impossible. Oh wait, they already fucked up again? Yeah, so Death Reckoning Part 1 underperformed, so they won't be calling MI8 Death Reckoning Part 2 anymore, but they won't drop the Part 1 from MI7. So it should be called Mission Impossible 7 Death Reckoning Part 1 of 1, because that makes sense, I guess.